Team Liquid just stomped Dignitas. I'm joined by Xpecial to talk about that and possibly more. Xpecial, Dignitas had been looking really good for a while. Do you think that that time is over? Does your stomping of them signify the end that a lot of people predicted?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I definitely think that they're not looking as strong right now, but obviously we had a good game, so it's hard to tell from that one game. Best at ones makes it hard, but it is the second half of the split, so there's always that come into play for a lot of these teams, especially CLG and Dig, who have been known to start sucking a lot.
Is that how you would describe it? Start sucking a lot?
No, I would actually describe it as their play drops off a little bit.
Okay. Okay. Is that the right media training kicking in?
Yes, sir.
It's just like, and then you just,
Yeah,
it switches over. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The shot call that I had just went off a little bit, so I was like, oh crap, I forgot.
Yeah.
Went off again.
There we go. It's funny because ahead of this interview, I was thinking to myself, what should I talk to you about? I feel like there's not too much to say about Team Liquid right now. Like you guys are just doing your thing, everything's going fine. Can you think of anything that's interesting about your team right now? Are you guys just playing LCS? Is that how it feels to you?
Oh yeah, that is really funny, Travis. As you were, asking that question, I just couldn't stop laughing.
That wasn't even a joke. I'm just saying I don't know what's going on with Team Liquid these days. You guys, other people are, Meteos is leaving C9, CLG's dropping off, Gravity rising in the ranks to number one. There's stuff to talk about there. But for you guys are just kind of doing your thing. Do you feel like that's the way it kind of is for you guys, or is there stuff going on no one knows about?
Well, we're definitely trying really hard. We're working really hard, just trying to improve. We've had some tough weeks, tough losses. We lost to Gravity last week, and we're just trying to play really well. Worlds is coming up, playoffs are coming up. We really want to do well, and this 2-0 week means a lot to us. We came in thinking, that, okay, we should win these games. For us to win them means good things for us.
Is everything going on fine behind the scenes? There's no drama. All the players are getting along. Everything's fine. I saw a slight smile there, as if you thought of something interesting.
Oh no, I was just thinking like this interview might be over soon, so no. But actually, I mean, there's always gonna be a little bit of drama but because we're winning. We're doing well. This is the best our team has done in the regular season, pretty much ever. So we're all pretty happy about that. There's not that much drama there, but we are upset that Gravity's like beating us. Gravity's like first place. They're kind of the B team. There's a little bit there. Some just like kind of why are they winning now? Like we feel like we're a better team than them. We feel like we're better players than them. But for us to lose to them does suck. But at the same time, I don't think we should think too much about that. I think best out once you're gonna get stuff like that, and so I'm not worried about that. But there is some like the team discussions about that, and there's also just in general us just wanting to do really well. We aren't first. We were first initially. We lost a couple games. We went 0-2 in a week. Why? And we're just trying to figure out how to best improve, how to really do the best we can, and that's the goal of the team.
Why do you think it is that Gravity is doing better than you guys? Have you had the conversation and the answer to that yet?
It's impossible to have an answer for that. It's gonna be a combination of a lot of things, but one thing that I would think would be true is that they probably follow their shot callers much more. I think when they have a call, I feel like they are all on the same page, and it might be because they are a relatively newer team and they all just have a lot of trust. They have not had a bad split yet as that five-man roster, and because of that, they trust in each other completely. And that happened to C9, right? But once you start losing, then that trust slowly goes away. And we see that with a lot of teams where when they're winning, everything goes perfectly. Once they start losing, things will go wrong. And luckily for us, we've been through that whole process. So even if we were to do slightly worse, I feel like we still have trust in each other. But right now, we still have issues following up the calls 100%, just because we all have our own thought, and it's hard to get five players to listen to one person all the time.
There seems to be a lot of discussion recently about Coop, his role on that team, and his success as a coach, as somebody who knows Coop pretty well, I imagine. What are your thoughts on Coach Coop?
Definitely, I have no idea. When Copp was on the team, he probably played the least amount of League of Legends that I've ever seen in a pro player. So when I see that, it's like um, I'm not sure how his transition to a coach would be. Maybe he's a really smart player when he like just thinks about the game and like just have to play. I don't know because I'm not on Gravity. But from my experience, I would not expect him to have a huge impact that that we see from Gravity. I don't know if it's actually true. Might just be wrong, but I don't have like, oh my God, I knew it. Cop is the golden egg, golden whatever the heck you want to call it. That's the reason why. That's the reason why Gravity is winning. So I don't know. But I'm definitely happy for Gravity, happy for Cop. Good to see that he's doing really well for himself, and I hope they continue it. But one thing that has always plagued Gravity is consistency, and I don't know if they'll drop off like they did last split or they'll just do better.
It sounds like you are a little skeptical of their support staff, though.
Well, they are a new team. I mean, expectedly, we as Team Liquid should have a better support staff, but the results don't show it. So I can't really be like, oh yeah, like we definitely have a better support staff or anything like that. I want playoffs to be here. I want to play. I want to like see how good are these teams in best out of 5 because I feel like best out of 1 doesn't bring out as much. I feel like weird champions, weird picks do a lot better in a best out of 1 situation than they do in a best out of 3, best out of 5. And that's where all the competitiveness really matters because you can go like 3-15 in the split as long as you make it to playoffs. And if you are somehow a god on best out of 5, you can win the playoffs. It doesn't really matter how well you place in the beginning of the split.
I mean, as long as you're top 6, right?
I mean, top 6 is pretty easy, man. Come on. We totally weren't 7th place going into the playoffs and barely got in. Yeah.
What's interesting to me about all these best of, like, the community has had a lot of discussion recently around, like, oh, there should be best of 2 like we see in Asia or best of 3s. Do you think that you lose games because of cheese? Because I hear a lot of people say, like, oh, in best of 1s it's really easy to get cheesed out. But, like, I don't feel like I see too many times, like, Unicorns of Love is kind of the exception, where you've got, like, just a cheesy team just doing incredibly well because they've got super cheese. Like, is that Keen's mid picks that are evidence towards that? What do you think?
I think there's definitely an element to that. For example, when we played against Gravity's Rise, you got absolutely dumpstered. That was a game that we felt like, well, we just lost picks and bans. Like, if we played again, we would ban Rise, or we first pick it, and then it's just a completely different game. Yeah. So that week, I didn't feel like we lost to Gravity. I felt like we lost in picks and bans. And we could have lost to any team in picks and bans in that situation because we just didn't value Rise as highly as they did. So yeah, I felt we just lost the game off Rise that game. And then another game would be like just in general of Gravity. Keen plays the weirdest champions. We lost to an Urgot the last time I played against him, I believe, and we forgot about Urgot completely. That was another, like, I wouldn't call it a cheese pick, but it's unexpected, and that's what I mean by cheese. I don't mean like, oh, it's a weird try, like, oh, they like 5-man Baron when it didn't spawn yet, like stuff like that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about just weird picks in general that you cannot bring out again in best out of 5 because it'd be either banned or you have more of preparation against it. And I think Gravity is the best players at utilizing really weird champions. Like, for example, Keen could have also brought out Nasus mid. People saw him playing solo queue. It's pretty annoying. And if he brought that out and it somehow is super OP, then in best out of 1, you're just going to beat that team in best out of 1.
Yeah. Do you think that there should be a best of 2 move? Like, do you think the LCS format should move to best of 2?
Yeah, definitely. It's much more competitive. Teams have to learn to adapt. That's not something you can do in a best out of 1. You don't adapt in one game just like that because the picks and bans are so big. And I feel like LCS will probably gravitate towards that because of all the criticism that all the pros are giving, all the criticism that the audience is giving, and maybe it sucks to broadcast. I don't know, but from my perspective, I really want more games in a single day. Like, I want to play against the same team. You know, best out of 2, best out of 3, best out of 5, best out of 80. I don't care. Maybe not 80. 80 is a little too much. Maybe like 75. But yeah.
Do you think it'll be best of 2 or best of 3? What is the ideal format? And what? 2 questions. What would you rather have, and what do you think LCS will move towards? Since you're asserting that you think they will go to best of 2.
It's tough to say. There are definitely advantages and disadvantages of both sides. I would say best out of 2 is the most competitive because you have one game on each side. But in terms of broadcast, like best out of 2, you don't always have a winner. Yeah. For example, when you have like a CLG TSM game, it's like, well, there's this really hype match. I'm gonna dye my hair green this time, and whichever team wins, it's like, oh, they went 1-1. What do you do? It's pink on one side, green on one side. Like you don't really know what to do at that point. So it's less of a rivalry, but at the same time, I think all that should be saved for his playoffs. So I would personally like Best Side 2s, and I think that Best Side 2s is the way to go.
Do you think that's where Riot will go?
I don't know. I don't want to speak for them, but I think that they probably would. I feel like it's a safer option for just broadcast reasons.
Very good. This is super fascinating topic. Probably should be talking to more pro players about it, since you said a lot of pro players have been vocal about that. So that's interesting. Is there anything that you would like to say to any of the Team Liquid fans out there? Xpecial, Alex Chu.
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't know why you said my name all weird, but yes, to all the fans left, all the fans that are still out there, thank you for supporting us, and good thing we're not CLG.
That should just be the headline. Alex Xpecial Chu says, "Good thing we're not CLG." Like, ignore all the best two stuff. That's kind of funny. Thank you so much for the interview, Xpecial. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage of all things League of Legends at GameSpot.com/LOL.